Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Coronavirus, coronavirus, coronavirus. Thy name strikes terror. But what concerns us is the needless imprisonment that millions of the people have been sent to. Why do the authorities keep on insisting lockdowns, which are nothing better than sending people to jail? People are incarcerated against their will. And that's why today in England, thousands of the people left their homes. Roads are jammed with the traffic. This has happened in Singapore. This has happened in Middle East. This is happening in USA. It has happened in India. And now it's happening in England. And in most places, sensible places like Taiwan, Sweden, they have no lockdown. Spain, with people having perished over 25,000? Yes. But the children are still allowed to play. They are not sent to stay at home. This concept of the lockdown, as I said, is a virtual imprisonment. Is this the only way to counter coronavirus? Is it really needed? Now, there are few things which cry out that the lockdown should not be there. First is, as we say, that it is going to hinder the economy. Already the world is heading towards recession. And if this trend continues, if the factories are not producing, if the people are not getting necessary needs and they are not fulfilled, then it will breed resentment. And we have seen people rising up. They have risen up in UK, and the migration of the migrant labor in India from one state to other is symptomatic of that. So, firstly, economy doesn't like lockdown. Secondly, it is unnecessary burden on the children. I'm not bothered about the adults and the grown-ups. They can adjust. Maybe there'll be more domestic violence. Maybe there would be bickering. Maybe there'll be mental issues, mental health issues. But the children are the worst affected. Child is the age when the child has to go out and play in the sun or rain. All the joys of the childhood are being snatched by these politicians and the political leaders. Then, is there need, even technically and from the medical point of view? The advice from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, WHO, and other agencies show that to protect yourself from coronavirus is simple. Wash your hands frequently, don't share personal items, and keep your distance from those who are showing symptoms. That is social distancing or geographical distance. And that is maximum of 2 meters. Now, putting everybody in home is not a solution. You can tell people, okay, you come out, but don't mix with each other. That's okay. Let people not share their personal items. They don't either way. So it's unclear how does it affect people? How does it spread? It has been said that it travels by air. Okay. But the maximum it can travel, the virus, from one person to other is a meter. That's why 2 meters was considered to be sufficient safe distance. But now new research has come up. And that is, I say, that the 80% of the patients who are suffering from coronavirus have had no symptoms of coronavirus. They have been tested negative and yet they have coronavirus. They take their thermal temperature, they look at their throat, they take a swab from the nose, and the result is the guy is clean, and then the guy man dies. If he's young, he can have a stroke, he can have a brain hemorrhage. If he's old, he'll linger on and die. But then look at the death rate. The latest figures show that the casualty rate is 0.6% of the people infected. So it's very unclear how much of the current coronavirus outbreak has been fueled by symptomatic people, pre-symptomatic people, or asymptomatic people. I had a talk with some people, exchanged the emails, and after reading some magazines, I found that most of the medical fraternity doesn't believe that lockdown is required. Nate Fevney, head of medical lead of the Forward Health, that because people who are asymptomatic can still spread the virus and have high level of virus in their respiratory secretions, naturally that can cause spread. If you put those people inside but they have no symptoms, when it ends, they'll still be suffering. They will have spread those symptoms to the other family members who are in the lockdown house and they go and spread it. If what is going to happen after 15 days happens today, heavens won't fall. It is possible that the people who are asthmatic or mild asthmatic could play a major role and they are playing. I was really amazed that during April 5, White House coronavirus task force in White House, Anthony Fauci, MD of the National Institute of Allergy, said that number of asymptomatic patient is 50%, and today the same body is saying it's 80%. So if the people don't have the symptom, then why penalize the people at all? Especially when you are penalizing unsuspecting children. I would not have bothered that much, but when I look at it, that Massachusetts Department of Public Health traced 99 cases of coronavirus in the state and they had no connection with anybody. They had no travel history, were not connected to anybody. So even if you are imprisoned in your home, you can still get coronavirus. Somebody traveling outside within 2 meters of your house is breathing and that virus comes in your house. So how does lockdown protect you or the nation or the community? There is one article which is yet to be published in CDC journal Emerging Infectious Diseases. And that states, that research article states, I've had a pre-publication article so I can quote it. It will be published after about a week or so. They say that the cases of chain of transmission is less than a week, not 15 days. It's less than a week with more than 10% of the patients being infected by somebody who has a virus but has no symptoms. And the data suggests that coronavirus is going to spread like flu. And now here comes a dichotomy, a contradiction. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry, right from the prime minister downward to the lowest janitor and the peon, says, we are waiting for the vaccine because when vaccine comes, we will be saved. They forget that vaccine is no panacea. Till now, we have not been successful in eradicating a single disease. No, sorry, one disease was eradicated, and that was plague. But leaving plague aside, no vaccine has ever removed one disease. Tuberculosis is still there. Malaria has come back. Syphilis is there. AIDS is there. Ebola is there. SARS is there. Flu is there. Polio has come back. So what vaccine are we talking about? And then every year the flu vaccine comes, and then the Even my family doctor told me, well, by the time vaccine comes, new strain of flu develops and the vaccine is useless. So what are we waiting for? Are we waiting for the end of the world where human beings will be degraded to the level of the animals kept in the pens? Then another thing is quite interesting. People are discounting it. There's a herd immunity. According to Oxford University and Cambridge University, they say that if the people mix with each other, they will develop an immunity. There's a herd immunity. Each one passes the antibodies, and as a group, they develop immunity against any infection. So, if the herd immunity can be safely practiced, that means let people go anywhere they want, whether they want to go in the malls or the cinema hall. I agree that let the people not go to the places which are closed. I mean, cinema halls. But then, otherwise, the protection itself would create immunity in the people and they would not suffer. As a matter of fact, this is the biggest argument against lockdown. One of the studies analyzed two coronavirus clusters, one in Singapore and other in Tianjin, China, and found that between 48 and 66% of the people in Singapore contracted the infection from someone who was pre-symptomatic, while 62 and 77% people got it in homes. The other study shared by the Canadian, Dutch, and Singapore researchers also looked at that and found that the coronavirus was transmitted on an average of 2.55 days. That say, let's say 3 days before symptoms onset and 2.89 days before the symptoms onset in Tianjin. If we look at the whole research, I find that if we apply our mind, we'll find that this lockdown is only an attempt by the politicians to perpetuate their power. And then don't forget, majority of the politicians don't look for the good of the people. If there are no issues, they'll create an issue. Because when the issue is there, the attention of the people is diverted to the issue, and the mad and the stupid policies of the government are not criticized. So maybe they have got this opportunity, a heaven sent opportunity, with which they can divert the attention of the people, make them feel scared, make them feel run scared, like scared hare in the flashlights of an oncoming car. And then I was amazed that the US agencies, including CDC, maintain that this can be dramatically ineffective. Lockdowns can be dramatically ineffective. So, when CDC Dr. Heseltine recommended testing known as contact tracing, which has been implemented in Singapore and South Korea. And now, mind you, both Singapore and South Korea are not under lockdown, but they have been able to control the epidemic by contact tracing. Why can't India, USA, Canada do it? I was happy to learn that in USA now the president has said that okay, it's up to the governors to take individual action, and even the Prime Minister of India today, while talking to the premier, said okay, we'll be relaxing it. It's pretty late. However, better late than never. The contact tracing is the ideal way of containing coronavirus, not putting people in their solitary confinement, which leads to what I'll say domestic violence, sexual and physical abuse of the children, physical and mental abuse of the seniors, destroying the economy, and making people think like scared puppies who run away at the first call of danger. Time is past. The lockdowns need to be ended now. They have sufficiently destroyed the economy. They have sufficiently harmed the psyche of the people. Let's not continue with this farce of lockdowns, which have no useful role to play at all. Think about it. Thank you.